and a very warm welcome to this special. We are building up to the second match of the Super Sunday that will be played between Chennai Super Kings and Delhi Capitals at the D.Y. Patil Stadium in Mumbai. That's right, Rishabh Pant versus MS Dhoni. He is back as the captain, but he hasn't been able to turn the fortunes around for Chennai Super Kings. They are lying at the bottom half of the table for Delhi Capitals. An important match. In fact, all matches from here on very important if they want to harbor any hopes of getting through to the playoffs. At the moment, in the 5th position, not much will change, but they will get 2 points, 2 vital points. And hopefully with the matches coming up and if they win those matches, then they can get through to the playoffs. So as we get to the final stages of this IPL, the final lap of this tournament, things heating up, and Delhi Capitals have won the toss and they have opted to field first, something that we've seen captains do here, especially at the D.Y. Patil Stadium, with Dew playing a role later on. So yes, Delhi Capitals, Rishabh Pant, he's won the toss. He's opted to field first versus Chennai Super Kings. Delhi have made 2 changes to their playing 11. Shrikar Bharat, he has come in, and Akshar Patel has come back in. They've come back in for Mandeep Singh and Lalit Yadav. So those are the 2 changes for Delhi Capitals. Now, for the Chennai Super Kings, there's just one forced change. Mahendra Singh Dhoni at the toss, making it clear that Ravindra Jadeja, in fact, is injured, and Shivam Dube comes back into the side. Shivam Dube, who actually started the tournament really well, then had to sit out for a couple of matches, but he's coming back in, but he's coming in place of Ravindra Jadeja. So that's the news then from the D.Y. Patil Stadium, but so important for DC to win from here on, Nikhil, and that's why I think the pressure is going to be on Delhi Capitals. And something else off the field also, things haven't been going right for them. You know, we saw first they didn't have all their players available to be chosen for the final playing 11.
Correct.
Then COVID, the no ball controversy, which was of course on the field, but things off the field have also been difficult for them. Again, there was a COVID situation, a net bowler found to tested positive. The good thing is the match is on, and DC would want to win from here on.
Absolutely. It's a big match for DC, as you put them. CSK, realistically speaking, can't make the playoffs now. They're languishing at number 9. They have an outside chance depending on the permutation and combination of other matches also of other teams. But 99% CSK cannot make the playoffs. But DC can. In fact, DC are in the race for that number 4 spot along with RCB, who just beat SRH or almost beaten SRH. So I think it's DC versus RCB for that 4th position, and therefore today's match is very, very crucial for Delhi Capitals. They've done well. They've done well given what has transpired off the field with COVID, not all the players being available. I think DC, to be in this position, have done reasonably well in the tournament. Some of their players are peaking now. Rahman Powell, for example, he's he had a terrible first few matches, but he's been brilliant in the death overs in the last few matches. Prithvi Shaw not being fit, being in hospital, is a big blow for them, because he, along with Warner, has been absolutely brilliant at the top. So they will miss Prithvi Shaw. Let's hope he recovers soon. Overall, I think DC start favourites in this match.
DC do start favourites because of what Nikhil's been saying, that David Warner is in red-hot form. He's been unstoppable from the moment he stepped onto this IPL field. And now you see Rahman Powell doing well. Akshar Patel has come back into the playing 11, and we've seen the difference that he's made in the last couple of games with the bat again, which we saw in the first game that DC played in the tournament. Okay, now let's take a look at the playing 11 for the 2 teams. Let's begin with Delhi Capitals then, and like we said, a couple of changes for them. And Rishabh Pant. Now Rishabh Pant hasn't been scoring as many runs as the team would have liked. He's got starts, he's got them at a good strike rate, Nikhil, but hasn't really got a big score.
Right.
But how good has David Warner been? To see that, he missed those first few matches, but came in, and from the time he's come in, he's been making a difference at every other inning, and that has been the reason why DC have done well in the tournament.
Absolutely. You know, his partnership with Prithvi Shaw, as I was mentioning, the most prolific opening pair in the tournament. Not only the runs they have scored, but the rate at which they have scored, their strike rate, their run rate is, you know, more than 10 in the power play. It is, you know, head and shoulders above all the other openers in the tournament. You know, in a tournament where run rate in the power play has been sluggish, they have defied the norm. So, you know, Warner and Shaw, especially David Warner, the highest run scorer, striking big, continuing his form from the T20 World Cup. That match against SRH Meha, I mean, that was a grudge match. The way he batted, he was pumped up. He was, you know, cheering for the opposition runs also. So, you know, David Warner will be even more sort of a key player today that Prithvi Shaw is not there. If you see the other team, Mitchell Marsh, you know, he needs to, you know, score some runs, also contribute with the ball. Powell now becomes a key batsman in the lower middle order. Akshar Patel done well in the last couple of matches. Then we've got Ritin Patel, Shardul Thakur, Kuldeep Yadav, 18 wickets in the tournament. He's done very well. One of the stories of the tournament. Nokia, you know, still finding his way. If he can find a bit of form which he displayed in the UAE leg last year, and Khalil, revelation win the ball in the death overs. So overall a good team. I think Pant now needs to shoulder more responsibility. He needs to get that 70 or 80. That 30-40s won't do anymore.
Because I think there is dependency on David Warner and Prithvi Shaw. And now Prithvi Shaw again, like Nikhil said, he's out. He's you know, in the hospital. He's got high fever. On his Instagram handle, he'd put a post saying, I'm okay and I hope to be back soon. There's a picture of him on a hospital bed, and we really hope and wish that he gets well soon. But that's what I've been talking about, Nikhil, that things haven't been good for them off the field as well. Health-wise, there have been issues. Injury-wise, you know, so players have, David Warner didn't come for the longest time. Mitchell Marsh didn't come in. And now, I mean, again, Prithvi Shaw is out. Akshar Patel was out from the last game. So things haven't been going well. But overall, this team with David Warner, the way he's batting, they have done well. Now let's take a look at Chennai Super Kings playing 11 and see whether there is any way. Now I feel like with these teams, with CSK as well as with Mumbai Indians, they can be party spoilers for teams from here on.
Exactly.
Not much is going to be different for them. You know, there's a mathematical possibility for CSK as well. I know a lot of people will say, no, there is still, if things work out, you know, CSK fans, but come on, let's be genuine about this. CSK do not have a chance to go through, nor do Mumbai. So these two teams will now look to spoil party for some of the others.
Correct.
And with what we saw with Ruturaj Gaikwad, he may have gotten out for a 28 in the last game, but he'd still be riding high on the confidence of that 99, and what a brilliant knock that was.
Against the Sunrisers, the way he took on Umran Malik was absolutely stunning. He just showed glimpses of what he did last season when he was the highest run getter. So his partnership with Conway will be the key at the top of the order. Given that the lower order, except for Dubey, hasn't done much. I mean, Dhoni, yes, one knock. Moeen Ali has failed. Moeen Ali has failed with the bat. One of the reasons why CSK has done badly.
Also, Nikhil, I'm sorry, I'll just stop you in the middle for just this update as well. Mahendra Singh Dhoni didn't mention Dwayne Bravo at the toss, but he is back as well. So that's good news, because we know what a difference he's made to this side.
Absolutely. He is the highest wicket taker and also brilliant in the death overs. Also, one of the stars for them in this tournament has been this Theekshana, this mystery spinner from Sri Lanka. He's taken on the mantle of bowling in the power play with Deepak Chahar not being available. This is a big plus for, you know, CSK. They have Singh and they have Chaudhary has also been very good with the ball, right arm, medium, fast. He's already picked 10 plus wickets in the tournament. See, most of some key players haven't performed. The one who is not playing today, Jadeja. You know, Jadeja is not playing today. He is not fit. He's had a very rough tournament. I mean, Jadeja was one of the Mr. Consistent in the last few editions of the IPL. But he's neither delivered with the bat nor with the ball, failed as a captain, removed mid-season or, you know, left himself. So Jadeja, you know, this tournament has been a disaster for him. He's not playing today. Otherwise, Moeen Ali, Gaikwad is sort of in good form now, but he wasn't in good form in the first half, and therefore CSK find themselves at number 9.
That's right. And also, when you look at their bowling attack, you're right. Deepak Chahar's absence is huge. It's left a gaping hole in that squad, because this is an inexperienced, and Mahendra Singh Dhoni himself has spoken about how inexperienced this bowling attack is, you know, and how as a captain when he's trying to tell him how to bowl, sometimes those things don't go right because again they do not have the experience of bowling here in the IPL. But Mahesh Dikshana has been phenomenal for them. Now let's take a look at the head-to-head. How do these two teams stack up against each other? Historically, 16 matches have been won by Chennai Super Kings and 10 by Delhi Capitals. But it is since 2020 where the record is completely in favor of Delhi Capitals.
That's interesting because since 2020, you know, Delhi's transformation started. They made it to the final, they made it to the playoffs under, in Ponting's tenureship, under the captaincy of Shreyas Iyer and then Rishabh Pant. So, you know, Delhi has done well in the last few seasons, and therefore you see that 4-1 domination against one of the most successful sides since 2020.
That's right. So, also for Delhi Capitals, Nikhil, I think, you know, again, you look at their campaign and they've not had 2 consecutive wins.
Yeah, since April 10th. Win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. Yeah.
And that is interesting because that's the story of DC as well as for Chennai Super Kings, the inconsistency.
Absolutely. You know, DC, to their credit, have won as many as they've lost. So they are still in the race. CSK haven't, you know, they're languishing at number 9. So they have lost more than they have won. Yes, both the teams have been inconsistent. Delhi, I expected to already be in the top 3, which hasn't happened. A few reasons for that, because apart from the top 2, Shaw and Warner, the batting initially, I mean, it didn't click. Rishabh Pant is not at his best yet in the tournament. Powell has just started to come onto his own. The lower order batting was weak for Delhi, which was a major problem. That was one of the main reasons why they did not win more matches and they lost in the first half of the tournament.
Okay, now let's also talk a little bit about, yes, that's what we were talking about, that how does DC get closer to the playoffs now and how big a loss will be Prithvi Shaw for this team. He didn't play the last game and yes, they won that game. David Warner's brilliance against Sunrisers Hyderabad. But given that Prithvi Shaw was in great form, this is going to be a huge blow and they'd be hoping that he comes back to playing soon for them.
Absolutely. It'll be a major blow because we have seen that, you know, these players work as pairs. You've seen Faf du Plessis not doing as well without Gaikwad and Gaikwad not doing as well without Faf du Plessis. Both were in menacing form for CSK. Same for Delhi Capitals. Warner and Shaw are a formidable pair. Now, will Warner change his batting approach just because, you know, Shaw is not there in the 11 today? Will he become more of an anchor because he knows, I mean, there is Pant, but, you know, there is no one to sort of carry the innings together. So what will Warner do? Will he again go helter-skelter or will he be a little more circumspect? So all these dynamics do affect. Therefore, Prithvi Shaw is a huge blow. I mean, also he's been very consistent this tournament. Last year also he scored 400 plus runs. And Prithvi Shaw, even if he gets a 30, he gets it in 20 balls. Doesn't waste deliveries. So he always gives you a start at the top of the order. And therefore, he's such a crucial batsman for the Capitals. Therefore, he was retained by them.
Yeah. And also, I think with Delhi and their performance and them doing well has been the resurgence of Kuldeep Yadav.
Absolutely.
And for him to do it against his former team, not just that, but to do it consistently in this tournament. It's the standout bowler for them, the standout, one of the best bowlers in the tournament, with Yuzvendra Chahal at the top with the purple cap and Kuldeep Yadav in number 2 position. How good has he been? And then he's also been ably supported by Khalil Ahmed.
Absolutely. I think there's a joke going on that if you want to, you know, succeed in the IPL, first play for KKR, and then, you know, after you don't do well for KKR, then you move to any other franchise. Examples being Kuldeep Yadav, Shubman Gill, Varun Chakravarti is now again in Islam, Venkatesh Iyer. I think they can also move on to other franchises and perhaps they'll do well. But yes, Kuldeep Yadav, the success story of the tournament. A year back, out benched by KKR, not in reckoning for India. Now he's back. He's one of the main bowlers of the tournament. He's back in reckoning for the T20 World Cup in Australia. Kulcha is back. The main difference in his bowling has been the speed. From 82 to 83 kilometers per hour, he's bowling 87 to 88, and those 4-5 kilometers per hour make the difference. He's bowling a little faster, he's getting the ball to grip, more revolutions. I was listening to Daniel Vittori, he's getting many more revolutions on the ball. So that is the difference between Kuldeep Yadav of the last 2 seasons for KKR and Kuldeep Yadav this season.
Okay, I've just been corrected by my producer Atishay. Thank you so much for that. But yes, Hasaranga has taken over Kuldeep Yadav because of the match that is going on right now. 21 wickets for Vanendu Hasaranga. But this is again a cat and mouse game between these top 3 spinners.
Correct.
To see who tops that purple cap race. And it's fantastic to see, really, given how little importance was given to the spinners during the auction, except for Vanendu Hasaranga, of course. Okay, but now let's also talk about the X-factor players for the 2 teams. Who can we expect, who can come out and change the game? Has to be David Warner, and you know, we can just keep talking about. He is, in fact, one of the greatest to played this format, this league. But to see him do this as well in this season, I mean, you know, there's something there where he's still trying to prove to everyone that, look, what a loss it's been for you, Sunrisers Hyderabad, especially given how he batted. But just overall, just telling the world that age not a problem. You know, I can just go out there and score runs. I'm really one of the best here.
Yeah, I mean, his career has been a story of comebacks. The Sandpaper Gate scandal in Cape Town, then what happened with transpired with SRH last year. You know, he's been in that form, and he's come back. I mean, he came back in the Ashes. He's now come back in this IPL after a disastrous season with SRH, stacked big season, and then the way he batted again. I mean, it requires not only physical skill, a lot of excellent temperament, mental toughness, and he was pumped up. Warner wants to win this tournament. He wants to win it alone. And he's been absolutely brilliant. I mean, he started in the T20 World Cup in Australia, player of the series, which Australia won in the UAE last season.
Yes.
And then this season, he's been absolutely brilliant. And he's been outscoring Prithvi Shaw. I mean, very few batsmen outscore Prithvi Shaw, and he's been doing that. So, 4 high impact performances, 4 50s. So in 8 matches, so he's very consistent. He's scoring at a very high strike rate, giving Delhi the start, and also carrying on, getting those 70 to 80 whenever he's getting a start. So David Warner has been phenomenal, and David Warner is not just a great IPL batsman. He's, I think, the greatest IPL batsman ever. Even for me, even better than AB de Villiers and Chris Gayle.
Okay, now good news for Royal Challengers Bangalore fans. They have beaten Sunrisers Hyderabad by 67 runs. That's right. That's a huge margin which will help their negative net run rate tremendously, which is good news because we know that now as the race for the top 4 positions heats up, this will be important. But Royal Challengers Bangalore first put up a total of 192 for 3. This despite a golden duck from Virat Kohli's 3rd in the tournament. But Faf du Plessis scoring 73 of 50 balls. Rajat Patidar then scoring 48. Maxwell playing a good knock. And then Dinesh Karthik, my goodness, 30 runs of 8 balls to finish that innings off in style. 192 was the target set by Royal Challengers Bangalore. Sunrisers Hyderabad never really got going. They lost their openers both for ducks. 1 run out. Kane Williamson was run out in the first over, and then Abhishek Sharma was also dismissed. Rahul Tripathi and Aiden Markram tried to steady the ship. 58 for Rahul Tripathi, 21 for Aiden Markram, but Sunrisers Hyderabad kept losing wickets from there on and managed 125. So Hasaranga, with that, as I was rightfully reminded, has jumped to the 2nd spot in that purple cap race with 21 wickets. Again, how good has he been? There was so much talk around how Vanendu Hasaranga would fare in this IPL given first season and whether he'd be able to bowl as well, but he has proved that he's worth every penny that RCB paid for him. So that's the breaking news then from the Wankhede Stadium. Royal Challengers Bangalore
doing well
now in the
Fourth position. Fourth position.
I would love to see the points table at some point, which Atishay will put up for us, and then we can see where they have gone in terms of their net run rate. It's still in the negative. If it's all, I hope.
It's still in the negative. It will be in the negative, but this will help the cause a lot.
It's 0.115. I like the way we all, you know, in the next 2-3 days, it'll be about taking out calculators and figuring out how things work, all the permutations and combinations of who the 4 teams would be. But just coming back now to the match that we'll see between Chennai Super Kings and Delhi Capitals. We were talking about the X-Factor players. We already spoke about David Warner and his greatness, but what about Mahesh Theekshana now? Again, mystery spinner. I know we've heard so many times mystery spinners coming out of Sri Lanka, but to do it this well, 11 wickets in 7 matches, and look at that strike rate, Nikhil.
Absolutely, absolutely brilliant. And also remember that he's been bowling in the power play. For a spinner to bowl in the power play with that much success, I think he's taken 5 wickets in the power play at an economy rate of less than 7.5, which is absolutely brilliant. For a spinner in the power play, and he's essentially an off spinner. So absolutely brilliant by Theekshana, given that CSK had wicket-taking woes in the power play with Deepak Chahar not being there. To a certain degree, Theekshana has, met that deficit. He picked up a few wickets. He's controlled the middle overs, and his battle against, Warner today could be very interesting.
I heard something very interesting the last time Mahesh Theekshana was bowling in the last game, where commentators were talking about his mystery spin, and they said, he's an off spinner. Why is he being called a mystery spinner? And then what is Ashwin? Shouldn't Ashwin be upset about the fact that he's got more mystery in the way he bowls? So, yeah, interesting. But Mahesh Theekshana has been a revelation in this tournament for Chennai Super Kings. Okay, now the key battles to watch out for today. What can we expect? First one then, David Warner versus Mahesh Theekshana, which will again be interesting. Because 17 balls, 23 runs, strike rate of 135.
Yeah, they've only played each other once, which was in Dubai, Australia, Sri Lanka last year in October. And that battle was won by David Warner. But this is going to be a fascinating battle. Both are in brilliant form. Warner absolutely brilliant in the power play. Theekshana also brilliant with the ball in the power play. And Theekshana will take the ball away from Warner being an off spinner. So this should be a fascinating, but this is for me the battle of the match which will decide the contest.
Okay, will this be the battle of the match? Will this be the one that decides the contest? We'll wait and watch out for that. But the other battle that we're looking forward to is between Rahman Powell and Dwayne Bravo. How interesting will this turn out to be? Dwayne Bravo's guile versus Rahman Powell's big hitting, Nikhil.
Absolutely. Powell's strike rate at the death. See, 40 balls, 105 runs, strike rate at 263. Now it is that's the highest strike rate in the death overs in the tournament for Rahman Powell. Last few matches he's been brilliant. But Bravo's economy rate in the death overs is 9, which is very decent for, for a death over economy rate. Also 9 wickets in 70 balls. So strike rate is, less than 8. So Bravo versus Powell, very key battle in the death overs in this contest.
Okay, now as we wrap this up, let's just take a look at the points table and just get a sense of how the teams are faring. Lucknow Super Giants sitting right at the top with 16 points and a very good net run rate. Gujarat Titans with 16 points as well. RR 14, RCB 14, DC. That's why we've been saying how important are all these games, especially for these teams who are in the 4th, 5th and 6th position.
Absolutely.
That's where the 4th position, final 4th position in for the playoffs will be decided. Sunrisers Hyderabad hasn't helped their cause today's game, especially losing by that net run rate, going down 10 points. Then there is, of course, PVKS, KKR, CSK and Mumbai Indians. Very little chance that they can really turn things around. Especially, PVKS and Kolkata Knight Riders. The other two are anyway out, Nikhil.
Absolutely. I think the contest now is between DC and, RCB for the 4th spot. I would say SRH still has a chance, but given that they've lost the last 4 matches, momentum not with them, I think SRH will struggle. So essentially, RCB and DC, for the 4th spot. If DC wins today, remember they'll have a game in hand. They would have only played 11. So, and with that net run rate, I think DC, will stand well to make the top 4.
Also to see that RCB played an extra game. So,
Yeah.
I mean, taking all of that into consideration, if DC wins today, then they do have the advantage. Well, then that's it on the special News 9 Sports is what you need to subscribe to get the latest from the world of sports. Updates, analysis, interviews, everything on News 9 Sports. That's it from Nikhil and me. Goodbye. Thanks for watching.